Hey there, everybody. It is our Wednesday afternoon now, and we're tracking a multiple number of weather hazards for your Wednesday. We, of course, have the high heat and the high humidity. That's why we've been in this alert mode already for a couple of days. This heat wave has been the worst of the year by far, and it's not over just yet. All of the heat problems, the humidity problems, they're all continuing today and a little less the next couple days, but still staying very hot. So keep the heat in mind, but I also want you to pay attention through about 11 o'clock this evening. We have the threat of some scattered severe thunderstorms here. Obviously, we had a number of thunderstorms that we worked with last week, but this week has been dry for now. Later on today, that could change in a pretty big way. A couple of things we want you to keep in mind as we go through our Wednesday. Obviously, limiting the time outdoors. At this point, you kind of know what to do, right? Limiting the outside time if you have to be out and about, drinking up the water, all of those common sense things that we know here in North Carolina help you out on a hot day. Do that. But also be alert for warnings. Some of these thunderstorms as we go into this afternoon and evening time, they really could pack a big punch. And we're talking about the potential of damaging winds that could put down trees, put down power lines, and really create some problems that you just don't want to have when you're in the middle of a heat wave. A couple of things I wanted to tell you about the heat first, and then we'll get to the live radar in just a second. Low temperatures earlier today. The main reason I'm showing you this, take a look here from Winston-Salem to Greensboro to Burlington. The morning low temperatures were right around 80 degrees. Just think about that for a second. The coolest part of the day, we were about 80 degrees, officially 79 in Greensboro at PTI. If that holds, which is to say if we don't cool down below 79 the rest of the day, which could happen if you get a thunderstorm, that will be a record, not just for today's date, but it would be the second warmest low temperature on record for the entire history of PTI Airport and Greensboro as a whole, which goes back to about 1903 for weather records. High temperatures so far today, right there like yesterday and the day before, in that 95-degree range. It has been hot. And this is what our sky looks like currently. We're giving you a live view over High Point right now. Traffic flowing easy on Main Street. You see the sky, it's mostly just clear at the moment, but it's brutal outside. With the heat, the temperatures are in the mid-90s, and with that humidity, it's feeling a lot worse than all of these temperatures do show. Slightly cooler if you want to split hairs up there in the foothills. Take a look at this though. This impresses me quite a bit. In the North Carolina mountains from Jefferson over to Boone, they're up in the upper 80s. That's really hard to do. Locally here, we are in those mid-90s. Raleigh's at about 97. We talk about the humidity. That's been pretty tough. A little better than the last couple of days, but still very bad. Dew points are in the upper 60s to low 70s. Whenever it's right around that 70-degree range, it feels tropical, it makes the air thick, and it really allows for a very tough condition for your skin to kind of cool down. The whole way our bodies cool down in the first place is that we sweat. The whole point about that is that that sweat can evaporate off your skin, take some heat away from your body. It's a cooling process. Well, when it's humid outside, that evaporation doesn't happen as well. And that's why we have what we call the heat index, or a feels like, whatever term you prefer. Right now, it does feel like the 100 to 105 range across most of our Triad area, as it has the last couple of days. So no surprise, we continue to have a heat advisory. We may or may not have one for tomorrow. As of now, it's set to expire later on this evening. We'll see if it gets extended, but I do hope that it should be allowed to expire for tomorrow as our temperatures get slightly more normal. Now let's transition and start to talk a little bit about the here and now, the severe weather threat going into this afternoon and this evening. There's nothing for you to worry about right this very minute, but as we get closer into the next couple of hours, we do have a risk. Now we're in a level 2 risk of severe weather. All of the numbers are at the top of your screen. When we talk about bad storms, it's kind of on a scale of likelihood. How many will there be, and how likely is it for you to get hit by one? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the absolute highest that we almost never see. Now for today, we're in that level 2 risk across our Triad area. Down closer to Charlotte, they're in a level 3 risk of bad storms, severe storms that can cause some damage. So the farther south and west you go today, the little bit more likely it is that you'll encounter a severe thunderstorm. But everybody, all of you watching right now in North Carolina, should be aware and alert later on today for possible severe thunderstorms. That threat even higher across South Carolina and Georgia throughout the day, but as you can see, all of the Carolinas are included. It's pretty early here. You're watching me right now at about 2:05 in the afternoon on our Wednesday. So far, we don't have any storms popping locally in our area, but we already have a couple of samples. And as a meteorologist, what I like to do in these first couple of hours, the first storms that start to pop up on a day like today, kind of treat these like guinea pigs, see how they're behaving, what kind of threats we're facing. And in this case for today, we're expecting that any storm that forms will have very heavy rain. It'll also have a lot of lightning and that potential for some damaging wind gusts. That's the biggest risk today. It's not tornadoes. We're not going to have any of those, but you could have some storms that create wind gusts that are in the 60, maybe even 70 mile per hour range, and maybe even produce some hail. So let's see what these storms are doing. This is over in the Raleigh area, Wake County here, Johnston County right there, outside of our Piedmont Triad area. But if we zoom in a little bit more, we'll kind of get an idea of what's going on. So there's the city of Raleigh right here. You have Knightdale over this direction. This is really heavy rain. So if you get caught in a storm like this later on today, what you'd be seeing, blinding rainfall. When those darker reds and pinks start to show up, that's the kind of rain that's very difficult for you to drive in or move about the area in. So that's one hazard. We also see several lightning strikes starting to pop up. Here it is near Garner, not too far from Fuquay-Varina. We have this storm as well. Now, with these storms, there's going to be that potential of high winds. This warning is calling for wind speeds of around 60 miles per hour. I'm going to step off quickly and just change the graphic on this to see what we're looking at for velocity. So when we pop this up, we wouldn't be seeing rotation like we do in a tornado. But in this case, we'd be looking for this storm to start to kind of separate and dump a big wind gust. Sometimes that can happen as they collapse, and we call it a microburst. And you get that wind energy to all fall out of the storm, hit the ground in all directions, and it sends a good amount of wind that can down trees and power lines. That could happen in a storm like that, and we could have some storms like that later on today. The National Weather Service has basically said, expect a severe thunderstorm watch for this afternoon, for this evening. Probably what they'll do, they'll draw a really big watch box that goes until about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. That's what I would be expecting for the next couple of hours. Let's walk you through our Futurecast now. Went through a little bit quickly. I'll back this up just a little bit more if we can. This is going to be the beginning of the storm system. So by around 5 o'clock tonight, our model is expecting several different scattered thunderstorms around the area. Now, whenever we show you a computer model, it's just a simulation. It's an estimate of what could happen. This doesn't mean there will be a storm in Mocksville and there won't be in Asheboro. They could easily be flip-flopped. But this gives you an idea of what kind of coverage we might expect later on today. In any storm that forms, there'll be a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, and that possibility of wind damage. Later on tonight, by 9 o'clock, most of this starting to wind down, but it wouldn't shock me if all the way through 11 or so, we still have some storms to track for you. And then tomorrow, we're going to kind of hit the reset button. The morning, dry, getting very hot yet again with temperatures in the low 90s through lunchtime. Watching the afternoon, you see right here, probably not as many storms on Thursday, but there's some, and they could create some problems as well. This is the case not just for Thursday, but also for Friday over the next couple of days. Just like you go to the doctor for a second opinion, sometimes I like to do the same thing when it comes to computer models. This is another model's opinion. This doesn't have quite as many storms, but the same idea holds true. We're likely to see scattered downpours later on today, some of them that could have some problems. So you obviously don't want to lose power when it comes to a heat wave, but that is the possibility we're looking at for today. Wind damage, trees, power lines, that would be our biggest concern. Hailstones can't be ruled out. It is not a tornado threat. We don't have that kind of organization of winds today. Some people could see some flooding though, because these storms are pretty slow movers. As I said just a minute ago, there is still that threat of a few storms for tomorrow. Not as widespread. We're in the level 1 concern for our Thursday. Same idea for Friday. So the next couple of days all have the potential of rain and thunderstorms. When it comes to the heat wave, it's still going to be very hot over the next couple of days. Let's kind of recap this for you in our 7-day forecast. We'll look ahead toward tomorrow first. I do have us at 93 degrees, still very hot, very humid, not likely to be in that alert level, but what's the difference, right? It's still going to be a very hot kind of a day, and we'll keep our eye to the sky for the afternoon. A couple more pop-up showers and storms are possible for Thursday and for Friday. As far as the weekend goes, looks a little bit drier for Saturday and Sunday, but still hot and still humid. I would not discount those storms this weekend. Temperatures will still be right around 90 degrees and will hold there as we go into early next week.